Have you spoken to Puff lately? Y'all talk or what?
Well, actually, we not really on speaking terms.
Mase was one of the biggest stars on Bad Boy Records in the 90s. Just as he was dominating the charts, everything came to a sudden halt. There's been a lot of speculation over why Mase decided to walk away at the peak of his career. One thing that's clear is the ongoing tension between him and Diddy, his former mentor and label boss. Many rappers, including Busta Rhymes, have called out Diddy for how he treats his artists, but he always seems to brush it off and defend himself. However, Mase finally didn't hold back and exposed just how badly Diddy treated him and others, even going so far as to claim that Diddy was literally starving his artists. Let's dive into what really went down. There's a lot to unpack with Mase's story, and while we can't cover every detail, we're breaking down the key moments to give you a clear picture of how it all unfolded. To understand Mase's journey, we need to rewind to 1993. Harlem rapper Big L founded the hip-hop group Children of the Corn, bringing together a talented lineup: McGruff, Mase, then rapping under the name Murder Mase, Bloodshed, and his cousin Killa Cam, better known today as Cam'ron. The group, briefly managed by Dame Dash, hustled to get noticed, dropping mixtapes and singles in hopes of landing a major label deal. After dropping out of college, Mase's big break came in 1996 during a chance encounter in Atlanta. He freestyled for Sean Puff Daddy Combs, impressing the Bad Boy Records mogul. Though Mase initially aimed to sign with Jermaine Dupri's So-So Def label, Diddy swooped in with an irresistible offer: a $250,000 contract with $50,000 paid up front. Mase signed on, a decision he later referred to as one of the worst mistakes of his life. Shedding his Murder Mase persona, he rebranded as Mase, swapping the gritty edge of his Children of the Corn days for a polished, radio-friendly sound. This transformation solidified him as Diddy's right-hand man, often seen alongside the mogul in matching over-the-top outfits. The duo became inseparable, a dynamic akin to Batman and Robin. Just a week after signing, the 20-year-old Harlem rapper delivered the freestyle that got him signed on the remix of 112's Only You. His life changed overnight. He went from hustling in Harlem to collaborating with some of the industry's biggest names. Behind the scenes, Mase played a pivotal role, penning much of the material on Puff Daddy and the family's No Way Out album. Despite all the writing Mase was doing, his bank account didn't reflect the success he was creating. In fact, the notorious B.I.G. suspected Mase was broke because they both signed similarly shady contracts under Bad Boy Records. To give you some context, in her memoir, linked in the description, Biggie's mother revealed that when her son signed with Bad Boy, he only received $25,000 up front. It was a pittance considering Biggie's talent, but it also shed light on the exploitative deals that many artists were subjected to. Recognizing Mase's immense potential, Biggie decided to step in and help him out. At the time, Biggie co-owned a marketing-turned-production company called Diaz Entertainment with his close friends Lance Rivera and Jacob York. The company was known for managing Junior Mafia, the group that featured Biggie's protégés Lil Kim and Lil Cease. Biggie saw an opportunity to put some quick cash in Mase's pocket. He told to pay Mase $30,000 to write 5 songs for Lil Cease. Eager to deliver, Mase turned to his Harlem roots for assistance. He gave $5,000 of that payment to Cam'ron, his childhood friend and fellow member of the Children of the Corn. Mase tasked Cam with writing 1 or 2 of the songs, including Lil Cease's verses for Crush on You. The song eventually made its way onto Lil Kim's 1996 solo debut album, Hardcore, and became a standout track. Cam'ron's contribution to Crush on You didn't go unnoticed and ultimately paved the way for him to secure his own solo record deal. Mase had always been determined to bring his friends along for the ride, but as his career began to take off, he had to shift his focus to his own rise to stardom. Diddy quickly recognized Mase's potential and began positioning him as one of Bad Boy Records' top artists, alongside the Lox, composed of Jadakiss, Styles P, and Chic Louch. Together, they became the faces of Bad Boy's new generation, even landing the cover of the Source magazine as the label's rising stars. This period, however, wasn't without challenges. The infamous tension between Bad Boy Records and Death Row, often sensationalized by the media as the East Coast versus West Coast feud, was at its peak. Despite the hostility, Mase managed to steer clear of the drama and maintain a neutral stance, a rarity in the heated environment of 1990s hip-hop. But tragedy struck repeatedly, shaking the foundation of the music industry and Mase's personal life. On September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur lost his life in a drive-by shooting, a devastating moment that intensified the already hostile atmosphere between the two coasts. Just 6 months later, Mase faced personal heartbreak when his close friend and Children of the Corn groupmate, Bloodshed, tragically died in a car accident on March 2, 1997, at just 21 years old. While Mase was grappling with this loss, Bad Boy faced its own tragedy. Biggie Smalls, the label's biggest star, had traveled to Los Angeles to shoot the music video for Hypnotize and promote his highly anticipated album, Life After Death. While there, Biggie also worked on tracks for Diddy's upcoming album and made plans to attend the Soul Train Music Awards on March 8, 1997. Coincidentally, Mase was also in Los Angeles that same day, attending a celebrity basketball tournament featuring numerous entertainers, including Snoop Dogg and other Death Row artists like the Dog Pound. According to a post later uncovered on Facebook, Biggie tried to attend the tournament as well, but was unable to enter the packed gymnasium, which had already reached capacity. Mase's connection with West Coast artists proved to be a double-edged sword in the wake of Tupac's tragic death. Despite the growing tension between Bad Boy and Death Row, Mase was well-liked in the West, and someone from Death Row reportedly warned him that the beef was still very much alive. The warning came after Tupac's passing, with animosity from Death Row's side remaining high and unpredictable. Mase, in turn, shared this cautionary advice with Diddy. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Mase informed Diddy of the danger and the ongoing tension between the two coasts. However, Diddy reportedly didn't take the warning seriously. Instead, he was preoccupied with his own personal affairs, including an alleged affair with actress Sally Richardson, and was more focused on enjoying his time in Los Angeles. Mase later reflected on this situation in an interview with MREC TV. While he wasn't particularly worried about his own safety, he did acknowledge that the situation was risky. He wasn't projecting any bad energy, but his instincts told him that something terrible could happen. Mase recalled, "If you go into heated territory and leave all security home, you leave all your goons home. I just know we were in a dumb situation. There was no security. This decision to travel without the usual safety measures would have dire consequences." Less than 24 hours after Mase received the warning, the unthinkable happened. Biggie Smalls, one of the most influential artists of his time, was tragically shot 4 times in Los Angeles on March 9, 1997, at the age of 24. His death sent shockwaves through the music world, especially in the Bad Boy camp. In her memoir, Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, shared a chilling and harsh reality about how those around her son responded to his passing. She wrote that, for many of Biggie's so-called friends, the loss of his life was secondary to the loss of his financial contribution. The harsh truth, according to her, was that the people who had profited from Biggie's talent mourned the end of their money train more than they mourned the loss of a beloved friend. With the tragic loss of Biggie still fresh, Mase felt the weight of responsibility to help Bad Boy rise from the ashes. In an interview with Angie Martinez, Mase explained that he put his pen to work, knowing that the label needed something big to stay relevant, and big is exactly what he delivered. In October 1997, Mase released his debut album, Harlem World, which quickly became a massive success, eventually going 4 times platinum. The album produced hits like Feel So Good and Lookin' at Me, both of which soared to #1 on the charts, cementing Mase's place in hip-hop's elite. But Mase wasn't content with just being a star. He used his newfound success to create opportunities for those around him. He inked a production deal for his own group, Harlem World, which featured his twin sister, Stacey Betha, and rapper Loon, who would later go on to achieve solo success under Bad Boy. Meanwhile, Mase reconnected with Jermaine Dupri and started his own label, All Out Records, as a division of So So Def. Harlem World was signed as the first act to the label. During this time, Mase was also involved with some notable collaborations. He was featured on Brandy's hit song Top of the World, and while Brandy has never publicly confirmed the rumors, it's widely believed that the two were romantically involved. In his memoir, Mase even admitted that Brandy was one of 4 serious girlfriends he's had, hinting at a deeper connection. Mase's romantic life didn't stop there. He was also reportedly linked to the late Aaliyah. In an article reflecting on Aaliyah's life, producer and DJ Mark Ronson revealed a memorable encounter at a club called the Cheetah Club, where he saw Aaliyah and Mase together, seemingly on a date. Mark recalled, "I think they were on a date, and I was like, holy..." Aaliyah and Mase's brief romance has remained a topic of speculation over the years, but Mase himself alluded to it, referencing both Brandy and Aaliyah in his song Looking at Me, making it clear that these relationships weren't just rumors. But just as Mase was starting to build his empire, tragedy struck again. In February 1999, Mase's former groupmate from Children of the Corn, Big L, was tragically murdered at the age of 24. Big L's death was another devastating blow to Mase, leading to the disbandment of Children of the Corn and leaving Mase to mourn yet another loss. In March 1999, Harlem World, Mase's new group, released their debut album, The Movement. But the buzz surrounding it was quickly overshadowed by an unexpected announcement just weeks later. On April 1st, Mase shocked the industry by revealing that he had signed with Magic Johnson's management company, a move that surprised many given his rapidly growing success at Bad Boy. But it didn't stop there. A few weeks after that, Mase appeared on Funkmaster Flex's radio show to promote his second solo album, Double Up. During the interview, things took a wild turn. Funkmaster Flex was handed a fax that read, "Mase is retiring from the rap game." When questioned about the fax, Mase responded cryptically, saying, "Make me happy, you know. I'm about to put something in your heart, you know. God talks to everybody differently." It was a statement that left everyone puzzled. Just like that, Mase, at the peak of his career, walked away from the industry. Despite the abrupt departure, Double Up did surprisingly well. The album peaked at #2 on the Billboard hip-hop charts and went gold. The track, I Really Like It, also gained significant traction. Fans speculated that Mase might have been referencing his relationship with Brandy in his lyrics, particularly in a line that seemed to hint at their rumored romance. In case you forgot, the song goes a little something like this. Me, 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 I wanted big bucks, no whammies. Understand me, I show love, they underhand me. Then they wonder why I want no family. Though he never explicitly named Brandy, the line seemed to tie into their connection, especially since family rhymes with brandy. But while his career was on fire, Mase's decision to retire from rap raised eyebrows. What could have prompted such a drastic move? An insider told the New York Daily News that Mase had experienced a profound shift in his perspective after witnessing a close person's miraculous recovery from an illness after they had professed their love for Christ. It was this spiritual awakening that reportedly led Mase to step away from the industry. Additionally, it was reported that actresses Tia and Tamara Mowry played a pivotal role in his decision. Mase had met them on the set of the video for his song I Really Like It, and during their time together they engaged in deep conversations about God and spirituality. The discussions seemed to have a lasting impact, helping Mase realize that he needed to make a change. As the months passed, speculation about Mase's sudden exit from the music industry continued to grow. One of the most talked-about rumors was that Mase was unhappy with the direction his career had taken under Diddy's guidance. The theory suggested that Mase was uncomfortable with being transformed from a hardcore MC, known for his gritty rhymes in the streets, into a smooth, polished, and marketable pretty boy. His new, mainstream image, complete with flashy suits and a smooth flow, reportedly clashed with the persona he had crafted in the early days of his career. This shift in image seemed to make Mase feel uneasy, as if the commercial success he had achieved was coming at the cost of his authenticity as a rapper. Another theory emerged, this time pointing to tensions within the rap community itself. According to an anonymous executive, Mase was facing backlash from some of his peers who believed he hadn't paid his dues. This frustration allegedly stemmed from his sudden rise to fame, with Mase going from underground success to mainstream stardom, bypassing the grueling years of struggle that many other artists had faced. Some of his hardcore fans, particularly those who had followed his early work with Children of the Corn, started to label him a sellout as he gained popularity in suburban circles. This shift in his fan base reportedly created a rift, making Mase feel isolated and prompting him to retreat from the spotlight. Then, there was yet another theory, one that came from his former peers in the rap world. Cam'ron and Lord Jamar both suggested that Mase's decision to leave the game was fueled by fears of street trouble catching up with him. According to Cam'ron, Mase believed that by embracing religion and publicly professing his faith, he could make himself untouchable, thinking no one would go after a man who had given his life to the Lord. It was a way for him to distance himself from the dangers of his past life. Despite the swirling rumors, Mase denied all the speculations. He repeatedly stated that his decision to leave rap was a spiritual one, claiming that God was guiding him in a different direction. While still technically under contract with Bad Boy, he made it clear to Diddy that he was following his own path, famously telling him, "Can't nobody hold me down." Mase took steps to redefine himself outside of his rap persona. He enrolled at Clark Atlanta University, choosing to pursue a degree in mathematics. As he shifted his focus from music to education, Mase made a conscious effort to separate Mase the rapper from Mase the man. In a bid to embrace humility, he gave away many of the luxurious items that had once defined his success, including his Range Rover, BMW, Mercedes convertible, and even his prized Rolex watch. He made it clear that material possessions were no longer his priority. However, his journey of self-transformation was far from easy. Moving from church to church in search of spiritual guidance, Mase struggled with maintaining his vow of celibacy. Despite his desire to walk a different path, his fame and physical appearance often attracted attention from women wherever he went. He found it difficult to stay true to his commitment, and the guilt that followed led to a troubling realization. Mase would sometimes feel physically ill after intimate encounters, which was a clear sign that his lifestyle was not aligning with his spiritual goals. After leaving the music industry, Mase found a new path in life and became a pastor. In his journey of spiritual transformation, he married a woman named Twyla, and together they established churches in Atlanta and Phoenix, where they served as pastors while raising a family. However, despite their shared mission, their marriage eventually came to an end. The dissolution of their relationship marked a significant chapter in Mase's life, as it caused him to reflect on his past decisions. Looking back on his time as a pastor, Mase expressed regret about taking such a drastic turn in his life. In a candid interview with TBN, he shared that he felt he had moved too quickly from one extreme to another. "I didn't give myself any room to grow," he admitted. Mase acknowledged that his sudden leap into ministry without a period of reflection or personal growth left him struggling to balance the demands of his faith with his own evolving sense of self. After years away from the rap game, Mase made a highly anticipated comeback with his 2004 album, Welcome Back. The album's title track was a nod to his return, but not everyone was thrilled to see him re-enter the world of hip-hop. Many of his former parishioners were disillusioned by his return to the genre, particularly since his lyrics no longer aligned with the spiritual messages he had once preached. The shift was jarring for many who had looked up to him as a spiritual leader, but Mase seemed determined to find a way to reconcile his two worlds. In 2005, Mase attempted to sign with 50 Cent's G-Unit Records, seeking a new chapter with the highly successful label. However, the deal never materialized. According to 50 Cent, the reason for the failed negotiations was a financial standoff. Diddy demanded $2 million to release Mase from his Bad Boy contract, while 50 Cent was only willing to offer $1 million. The deal fell apart, leaving Mase to continue navigating the complexities of his career. Mase then faded from the spotlight again, only to re-emerge in 2009 with unfinished business. In a surprising turn of events, he showed up unexpectedly at an Atlanta radio station during a visit by Diddy and Dirty Money. Armed with papers, Mase was there to settle the long-standing contract disputes between him and Bad Boy. The documents reportedly granted him a release from his Bad Boy contract, and Diddy signed them, freeing Mase from the label's grasp, though the release was only temporary, lasting for a year. It wasn't until 2012, 16 years after first signing with Bad Boy, that Mase officially parted ways with the label for good. Mase and Diddy seemed to have patched things up in 2016 when Mase joined the Bad Boy family reunion tour. However, by 2020, their relationship had soured once again. In a now-deleted Instagram post, Mase claimed that Diddy had paid him only $20,000 for his publishing rights more than 20 years ago. Mase tried to buy them back in 2020 for $2 million, but Diddy allegedly rejected the offer, stating that a European man was willing to pay more. Mase took to social media to accuse Diddy of living a lavish lifestyle while leaving his artists struggling financially. In 2022, Mase took his frustration to music, releasing diss tracks aimed at Diddy. On Oracle 2, Standing on Bodies, Mase rapped, "We ain't gang, we ain't goals, we ain't family, we ain't foes, and we definitely not bros, we ain't nothing." Diddy fired back during a 2022 interview with The Breakfast Club, where he denied Mase's claims and called him a fake pastor who had deceived people. By August 2022, Mase made headlines again by announcing he had signed with Death Row Records, a label now owned by Snoop Dogg. However, as of now, it's unclear whether Mase is officially on the roster. It seems the days of shiny suits and collaborations between Mase and Diddy are long gone. As Mase once put it, "Puff can't beat me at anything, and he knows that. And I'm up for the challenge." When asked about his decision, Mase explained that it was about more than money. It was about improving his life. "I decided to stop rapping because I just wanted to better my life," Mase explained. "Not all the time is money the best thing for your life." Although he was under contract with Bad Boy, Mase managed to leave without much resistance. However, he never saw a dime from the royalties of his album Welcome Back. Years later, Mase made a brief return to Bad Boy, but soon after, he walked away again. In one interview with Puffy, Mase aired his frustrations but ultimately returned once more, this time to publicly expose how Diddy treated his artists. Mase opened up about his decision to speak out against Diddy during a live Instagram session, saying, "I see the hurt and the pain of other people on Bad Boy. That motivates me to say something so I don't just make a bunch of money and turn a blind eye." He didn't hold back, calling out Diddy for how he treated his artists, including starving them. In a now-deleted post, Mase wrote, Your past business practices have purposely starved your artists and been extremely unfair to the very same artists that helped you obtain the Icon Award on the iconic Bad Boy label. In a subsequent interview, Mase went into more detail, explaining how he never received any payment despite being behind some of Bad Boy's biggest hits. Diddy responded to Mase's accusations, firmly denying any exploitation. "If you think I'm a scumbag who would ever steal anything, my name is Diddy Sean Combs. I never took nothing from nobody a day in my life. All I've ever given is opportunity and more money than a person was making," he said. He continued to defend himself. "When I hear things, I'm like, wow. This vibe they got on me, like I'm Big Red or something. I came here, I had to open up the doors. You don't steal from artists? That's not what I'm about. Never." Diddy suggested that Mase was just looking for someone to blame. "At a certain point, when the money's running low, you gotta run this hustle to try to find somebody to blame," Diddy said. He made it clear he was ready to fight for his reputation and legacy, adding, "I'm back outside and I'm fighting back for us, and I'm also doing a little fighting back for me." Addressing Mase's claims, Diddy insisted that Mase actually owed him money. "I did one album with Mase, one album. How much money do you think I owe this guy? One album. And then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people. And y'all gonna let him throw dirt on God's name? Bring your receipts." "I've got mine," Diddy stated. He went on to claim that Mase had been paid for a second album but never delivered it. "He owes me $3 million. That's facts. I got the receipt," Diddy said. "I'm not going back and forth with Mase. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going back and forth with nobody." It almost became humorous when Diddy said, "Face thing, you know I did one album with Mase. One album. How much money do you think I owe this guy?" Well, it seems you do owe him something. Things took a turn when Diddy went as far as calling Mase a fake pastor who owed him $3 million. He claimed, "And then he became a fake pastor and went and conned people, and now y'all gonna let him throw dirt on God's name. I wrote each and every one and each and everybody. Anybody could come and step up, bring your receipts. But I'm not playing. I'm back outside, and I'm fighting back for us, and I'm also doing a little fighting back for me. You know what? The reason he owes me $3 million, that's facts. I got the receipt." Mase was furious about Diddy's comment about receipts. He fired back, saying that all the receipts were actually in Diddy's mother's name and that many others who could back him up were already gone. "Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything's in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He's dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He's dead. I'm the only one with the guts." Mase wasn't holding back, especially since he had a personal connection to Biggie, who had been close to him. Mase even mentioned how he felt compelled to do something for Biggie's kids because of the support Biggie had given him. Tragically, Biggie was killed in Los Angeles in the 90s, which added another layer of pain to Mase's fight. Jaguar Wright has also spoken out, accusing Diddy of being involved in Biggie's death and continuing to profit from Biggie's name even after more than 20 years. "Puffy has been making money off Biggie's name longer than Biggie was alive," she said. "People forget. He hadn't even turned 25. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years now, and Diddy's been cashing in on that boy's name longer than he lived. It's kept the entire Bad Boy catalog afloat. A Biggie verse is still incredibly valuable." Sadly, it seems Diddy isn't bothered by these accusations. He continues to live a lavish lifestyle, seemingly unaffected by the controversy surrounding his name. If you're still unsure about how deep this runs, let's talk about Craig Mack. He was one of the first artists signed to Bad Boy. His big break came when he had a chance with Diddy at Uptown Records, but after Diddy was fired, everything fell apart. When Diddy launched Bad Boy Records, he brought Craig Mack back into the fold, essentially helping to shape his career. But just a few years later, Diddy seemed to quickly bring Craig down. In a now famous interview with Biggie and Craig, Diddy was caught in a lie on camera when he claimed that Craig's second album was coming soon. Craig, who looked visibly shocked, knew this wasn't true. When asked about upcoming projects, Diddy responded, "So like, Puffy, what's coming up next?" Diddy replied, "We got Big's wife dropping, and Miss Wallace, she's dropping for sure. We also have some B-sides and other projects. We have Big's new album coming in September, Life After Death. I'm sure you got a lot of things in store for my man, right?" Craig awkwardly nodded, but Diddy kept talking. "Definitely. We've got a new album in the works, dropping in January. Besides that, we're about to drop our R&B stuff." Sadly, Biggie passed away shortly after this interview, and Craig died of heart failure in 2018. In the unseen interview of Craig, he opened up about how Diddy exploited him during their time together. They had an agreement where Diddy would pay him in thirds as he completed songs, but Diddy failed to follow through on the payments. When Craig confronted him about it, Diddy allegedly threatened him to finish the work. Frustrated and at his breaking point, Craig even considered taking drastic action. One day, sitting in his sister's car with a gun in hand, he thought about what he might do. As he turned on the radio, hoping for some distraction, gospel music started playing instead. It was then that Craig had a moment of clarity. He listened to a song he had never heard before, but it hit him emotionally, and he felt as though God was speaking to him. Overwhelmed with emotion, Craig broke down in tears. "I was like, I'm frustrated. I really need your advice and your love right now," he recalled. "When I turned the station, all this gospel music came on, and it was this song I've never heard before. But I knew it was God talking to me because of how it made me feel. I broke down and started crying in the car. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I was thinking about doing something crazy, something I really didn't want to do." Years later, Craig seemed to have found some peace. He made an appearance in one of Bad Boy's videos and even thought he might sign a new album deal with the label. But, as was often the case, that never materialized. Shine has his own experiences with Diddy, but unlike Mase, he and Puffy are on good terms these days. Now involved in politics, Shine has moved on from the music industry, but there's still a lot to unpack when it comes to the other artists from the Bad Boy label that Mase might be standing up for. One of those artists is Faith Evans, Biggie's ex-wife. Many people believe she knows something about Biggie's death. As one person put it, "I don't think Faith Evans was involved in Biggie's murder, but I do think she knows who did it. Maybe she's keeping quiet for her safety and for the safety of her children." At this point, it seems widely accepted that Diddy built his fortune by holding on to others, especially those who worked for him. But do you think there's a chance that Diddy's claims of being clean hold any weight? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.